That's my baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored.
They did it.
Left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah. What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, fam, what is up? We are back. Another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm your host, as always, Steve Rochelle. Being joined by this goof monster over here, Mr. Zachary Burr. Zach, what is up this evening, this afternoon, my friend? What are you doing?
Something is all of a sudden, dude, my connection is fucking up already, Steven. What are we doing over here? All right,
you gotta get out of there, brother. You gotta
get all those background apps closed. You know, okay, there we go. Right. So now we're good. Got the Jayalai. Look, I look like a European soccer player with the man bun and the beard. Who's that one UFC fighter that has the man bun?
Well, that used to be, what was it, Elias Theodore? The Canadian guy?
UFC guy. I just thought there was a guy that had like the man bun and the beard in
MMA
at some point.
What's up, big time? What's up? What's up, fam? Jake
What's up, Tommy?
We're gonna have a fun one tonight, man. We're gonna talk some football, talk some Phillies. We got Philadelphia police officer and top 10 ranked UFC heavyweight Christopher Daukus is gonna be joining us. We can talk a little UFC fight night. We got some former guests fighting tonight. Well, we got Pat Sabatini's fighting tonight. We got Sam Alvey fighting tonight. So wish them the best of skill tonight. Hopefully they get out of there with some W's. So. But we can't forget. I always tend to forget this time. I don't.
Never forget.
But this show is always brought to you by our friends over at Expo Realty. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, you're looking to change your career brokerage, contact Alan for you over at Expo Realty LLC at 302-682-8820. Visit him at Alan Foy at XBORealty.com. Make sure you guys are checking them out if that's something you're looking into. As far as the poll for tonight, you know, Zach's looking a little Gardner Minshew-esque tonight. So
there we go. There, see, we got it all. Throw it all into one look. The little Gardner Minshew, the little European soccer player, maybe a little UFC fighter. It's all. Look, we got it. It's all good.
So the Gardner Minshew trade won't be the last move the Eagles make, but before the end of the season. Agreed, disagree. Tommy's already on there. You know, gonna disagree to the poll at least. You know, nothing significant. I kind of agree. It's nothing significant. I still think that he's gonna make some little move here. I still think Dillard's on his way out. That's kind of the trade I see. I don't know if he gets back picks or whatever he happens to do with that, but yeah, I mean, we're already getting it in there. What are your thoughts, brother? You know, we'll go back to the poll question in a second, but what are your actual thoughts on the Gardner Minshew being brought in? Obviously, people have already weighed in for what we've given up, what it brings to the table, etc. Let's see what Mr. Burr has to say. What do you got, brother?
My thoughts are Gardner Minshew's mustache doesn't groom itself. You know, it grooms Gardner Minshew, right? Like it's back to those Gardner Minshew Chuck Norris jokes or whatever the fuck they were telling like a year ago. Remember some of the good ones they had?
What, the porn stash? Is that what we're talking about?
All the good, you know, it was they were acting, you know, when Gardner Minshew was tearing it up his rookie year. I guess it was 2 years ago, whatever. Remember they had all the fun like Chuck Norris sayings, like, you know. Gardner Minshew doesn't groom its mustache; it grooms him. You know what I mean? That type of stuff.
Yeah, we're already we're already getting the Minshew memes going on here.
Oh, dude, you know that's happening, dude. This is going to be the second coming of Big Dick Nick. Are you kidding me? People are going to fall in love with this dude. This is what they're going to do. This is what they're going to do. Oh my God, I can't wait for this. I mean, at least we won't have to hear about Nick Foles anymore. But I can't wait to hear about the nicknames they have for Gardner Minshew when it comes to all this. I mean, the backup quarterback is always the most popular player in Philadelphia with this fan base. It just is. So, this idea, I mean, I don't like. How long he's going to be inactive? He's going to be my third string. I don't know what he's going. Nick Mullins shouldn't make the roster, so let's start with that, right? Like you're just going to cut Nick Mullins. So I don't care that Flacco's making $3.5 million. To be honest, like Flacco could be my 3. Like I need my backup quarterback to be the guy that I feel like best can step in and give me a chance to compete if Hurts goes down, right? And that's definitely Gardner Minshew. And I don't think you trade a 6th round pick unless that's the plan here, like relatively soon. Maybe not week 1, right? But I mean, by week 3, if he's not my backup quarterback, what are we doing? I don't understand. Like, it just wouldn't make any sense for Flacco to be ahead of him on the depth chart. But you said you spoke to somebody today who would be in the know. I don't know if you want to mention the name on air.
I know. I mean, like, I went to the dinner signing and there's people talking. Obviously, they're like asking Ray what he thought. So
Ray
obviously.
Dininger, right?
Yeah, Ray Dininger had a signing over here at Bucks County Baseball Company. Seen some fans there. Talking to some people. So we get in there, and someone asked him what they thought about Minshew, and he was like, he's your 3. He really doesn't feel like he's gonna dress. Like he feels like outside of barring injury, etc. That good portion of it, he probably won't. He'll probably be one of those healthy scratches to make sure that we have roster spots.
I don't understand that. Like, it's crazy to me.
I mean, you bring him in for a 6, so you're not really giving him much. Like, I still think.
Kidding. Yeah, I'm not mad about giving up a 6th round pick for him. I'm not mad about that. But I just think there was a plan.
And that's even funny you say that because there was some people that were. I see. What's that now?
I mean, my point is, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's like if you can like. It just seems hard to convince me that like you would trade for a guy just so he can be your practice squad quarterback, no matter what you're giving up. Like, I know it's only a 6th round pick, but who does that?
My thing is, I think it's more along the lines of is more they didn't like what they seen in Joe and wanted to make sure God forbid there's. But God forbid, barring an injury that happened to Jalen, they didn't want to have to completely rely on Joe. And I think the other thing was that what they seen from Nick Mullins stinking it up too was just one of those things. It's just like, hey, I think we need to get another guy in. They get, Howie goes, makes a calls the guys down there in Jacksonville, like, hey, what's it going to take to get Gardner out there? Because, obviously they just made the announcement, who their starter was. And, you go and make a move. We go back to a few years ago with the whole quarterback factory thing, and what, I don't think that's a bad thing having another young guy in the room outside of Flacco. It's somebody that, something having Joe there and having a guy like Gardner there too doesn't do anything but help your team. You didn't give up much. He dresses. He's 3. He's 2. It doesn't bother me either way. We already know he's there he's there to solidify not the rest of the room and also give them an option barring some type of catastrophe, injury, etc. That's where I think that it is where I'm looking at it. What do you feel on that?
Well, I mean, I just think with the way today's NFL works, concussion protocols, things like that, you get slapped aside the head by a defensive lineman and you're Jalen Hurts' size. Next thing you know, they're putting you in the tent because they got concussion protocol and you're out for the game. And you're like, oh, damn, how'd this happen? Yeah, I know, he'll be fine next week, but we still have 3 quarters of football to play. What happens here? I'd rather have Gardner Minshew play those 3 quarters than Joe Flacco. And I mean, for me, that's why the backup quarterback's there. Who would you rather play those final 3 quarters of football, Flacco or Minshew? I mean, we all know what the answer is there, so I don't understand. Like, because we're paying Flacco $3.5 million and it's all guaranteed or whatever, is that the idea behind why he has to be the backup? Yeah, I'll pay you $3.5 million to be the 3rd string guy that sits around with the practice squad guys and cracks jokes as you sit in your house in Haddonfield. We all know you live like 25 minutes away from fucking Philly, 20 minutes away from Philly, whatever. Like, you're literally at home with your family, like, you're getting ready for the next phase of your career, which is retirement. Why the fuck is he earned or entitled to the backup quarterback job just because we're paying him $3.5 million? What do you fucking do? You're lucky you don't cut your ass just because to make a point, because that's what Howie does. Because he's a snake. Because he's like, oh, I'm paying you $3.5 million. Well, watch this. No, I'm not paying you nothing. Get out. But,
Someone did bring up an idea that I seen on social, and I thought it was a good idea. Maybe you cut Rick Lovato, knowing that nobody's going to pick him up, to kind of be able to kind of finagle an extra spot that way, and being able to pick him back up on the back end.
You can cut. I mean, there's plenty of dudes I think you could cut. I mean, is somebody really going? If you cut John Hightower, is somebody really going to pick him up? Right? If you cut J. Joe,
and that's the other thing that means
is somebody picking Greg Ward up. Maybe, I doubt it.
And that's another thing me and you are gonna get into is who, there's some bubble talk, people who you think are on the way out, possibly, potential cuts. What are some you think on the offense? Obviously we've been beating the wide receiver thing. It looks even more and more prevalent in these coming days. I mean, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, try to give himself a little boost with his big TD catch last night. I don't know what that means, in the final preseason game against the Jets. It is what it is. Rumor is that the Travis Fulgham project could possibly be coming to an end. That's kind of the rumblings around social media.
I mean,
what do you think? Who's who? If you're you're in that coach's room and you're gonna say stay go, who are you staying with? Who are you letting go? What are you trying to work out?
How many receivers do we keep? 6. We keep 6 receivers, right?
Wasn't it normally like 5 or 6, something like that? Yeah,
I think you keep 6 and 5 are active or something like that, right? But like, we might keep 1 less because we play with more tight ends or something, But I mean, obviously, Devontae Smith, right? And then you got Jalen Reagor. You're going to have Quez is going to be in that. So that's 3 right there that are obvious no-brainers, right?
Now,
I mean.
Jay, who are you talking about over that catch anybody could have made? Who are we talking about here? Are we talking about Quez? Is that what we're talking about, Jay?
Well,
I got to know. I know
skills, like whether or not they're all going to translate. You can see with your eyes when you watch Quez Watkins. Okay, there's something there. Now you got to figure out how to get it all out of him, right? But you can see there's something there. To this point, there's been nothing. I've been more impressed with the way J-Jaw stands underneath an umbrella at practice than I have with anything he does, in a game. This is my thing with that. Like, yes, Fulgham hasn't been impressive, but are we just not sick and tired of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside? Like, I know I am. Can this guy? I'm sick of J-Jaw. Like the nickname J-Jaw, not like the person himself, but just the nickname. Calling him J-Jaw. People that have like 2 career catches
I don't disagree. I don't disagree that he could be, but he's one of the guys on the bubble, and I think one or both of them could potentially be on the way out.
Sure, of course he's on the bubble. Okay, so who are my cut options? We're cutting 2 receivers or 3? Because I mean, I might cut Ward or Arcega-Whiteside. Like before I would cut Fulgham, I might cut both of them. Like Ward has no reason to be on this roster, I don't think, anymore. We kind of have seen where they want to go with the wide receiver position. Devontae Smith, Quez is going to play on the other outside position. Jalen will play all over the field, I guess, and they're hoping to get, some production out of those young guys. John Hightower, I guess, just stays because he's a second-year guy and you're on a young rookie contract, so there's really no point to cut that guy unless you think it's an absolute guarantee you can sign him back to your practice squad. Keeping Greg Ward doesn't make any sense to me just because of the salary and all that. They're just, he's not. What is he going to be, your 4th receiver? He doesn't play special teams for me unless he's going to punt return. If he can punt return, then maybe it's a valuable thing because you need a guy that can be a valuable punt returner. But I would think they want Reagor to do that as the, almost the utility knife, I guess you could call it. You know what I mean? They want him to be the guy that they can use as the tool in all these different ways to get him the ball and get him in space and yada, yada. We'll see. I mean, that's what you got to hope is that all those guys take that step forward, right? Quez Watkins, looks good. Looks like there's something there, turns into a player. Reagor, as much as he got bashed, last year and going into this year, maybe can put all that behind him as he matures and there's something there and he turns into a player. I don't see any reason why not to roll with Hightower and Fulgham then as my 4 and 5. And I'm cutting Ward and Arcega-Whiteside, I guess. Despite that drop pass. But it was one thing when he was our second best receiver, even arguably our best receiver at times. Is that going to be the case now? You know, is he worth a roster spot as your fourth receiver? If he's not, you know, returning kicks and all that too. I mean, he just might be, just so you have the depth there, right? In case Rager goes down, Watkins goes down, either one of them isn't the guy you think he is. At least you feel like you have somebody that's at least reliable. You know, he can go run you a solid route and catch the ball when he's open on the opposite side of Devontae Smith. So maybe it makes sense to keep Ward in that regard, and you cut, you know, Fulgham and Ortega-Whiteside. I'm not losing sleep really over any of it. Like,
why does that keep the lights low?
Now I know why Zach keeps the lights low. You know, yeah. I mean, okay. I'm not. You know, me and Steven both really, right? It really is. But you know, I'm like, you know, these people that are like, okay, no, they can't cut Fulgham. I'm not losing sleep over them cutting Fulgham. Like, I'm really not. You know what could really be the funniest thing in all of this for me? Yeah, that's what it's going to be, Red. Absolutely. Devontae and Quez on the outside and Rager in the slot. And there's a lot of potential there, sure. But the funniest thing for me will be, like, if we keep J.J. Ortega-Whiteside and he actually turns into a player, how much of an indictment does that become on Doug Peterson? And I know me and you, like, both were never huge Doug guys. There's, you know, obviously very, you know, split amongst this fan base with that. But does that become a huge indictment on Doug and his entire coaching staff if J.J. Ortega-Whiteside suddenly turns into a player under Nick Sirianni and this coaching staff after 3 years of giving us absolutely nothing? Like, how bad do they look all of a sudden?
It definitely wouldn't be a bad look, and yeah, it absolutely it would be an indictment on Doug. But I don't see that first seeing that happen. I mean, you know, what you seen last night with JJ was just, you know, what it was. It was a flash in the moment in the final preseason game. I don't know what else to tell you with that. I agree with Rod here. You know, Devontae Quez on the outside. Right, I think you'll have things moving around with Rager and Quez, kind of trying to see what they have with matchups with when they get in matchups with corners, etc. See who's going to slide down to pick up that. You never know who they wind up going with when it comes to that. I don't know. I don't think he is on the trading block. I think they're going to keep him right where he is. And maybe if somebody comes in with an offer to take that from them, where you get another big veteran receiver, maybe. But you know, I don't know if I would say that he's on the trading block. You know. I think the Eagles are fine with keeping three, and you know, like I said, as I was talking to hearing what Ray's thoughts on it, I think it's a good possibility that MINSHEW winds up being inactive for you know, a handful, at least the first 5 weeks or so. But no. we'll see. We'll see.
Just cut Nick Mullins. How about better yet? Let's keep Nick Mullins. He can run my goddamn practice squad. That's what shitty quarterbacks are supposed to do. They run my goddamn practice squad, and I can cut Joe Flacco. Okay? No more talk of this. Yeah, Joe Flacco's the backup quarterback because you paid him $3.5 million. And did you know he grew up in Audubon? Did you know Tom and him went to high school? Did you know he played quarterback and Tom was the tight end and he threw the ball to him and him and Tom? Oh my God. I don't give a goddamn for all these fucking Joe Flacco homers. I'm about to hate the dude as much as Tom does all of a sudden. You know what? Fuck this. No, cut Joe Flacco. Gardner Minshew's my 2. And just to troll everybody, Nick Mullins can be my fucking practice squad quarterback.
Zach's letting it fly, man. Listen, I like I said, I think he's going to be here, throughout the season. That's just my take on it. We'll see how it plays out. If I'm wrong, could be. You know, what are your thoughts? You know, elsewise, what you've seen? Like, were you happy what you got out of the inter squad practices and in the preseason? You feel like, you know, obviously, you know, the starters really didn't get any reps, but week 1 really, and you know, will there be rust going into Atlanta for that game?
Will there be rust? I mean, yeah, I don't know, you know, if there'll be rust, but it's when you have a young quarterback, you know, I don't know. I think I would have wanted to see a little bit more from Jalen than what we saw in the preseason, but you know, I don't know. Listen, it is what it is. There's 17 games, and maybe use those first couple weeks as kind of your de facto preseason games anyway.
I mean, that's kind of where I see it, Jay. I think they're gonna keep two active, third or be one of those healthy scratches and things you see of that nature. That's just kind of how I feel it, but we'll see how that winds up playing out. What's up, Molly? Yeah, football season's back. Let's go, boys. Are you ready? Are you excited, Zach?
Absolutely.
Football's back.
I'm absolutely excited. Going to make a ton of money this year betting on football.
I don't know if
nobody wants Joe Flacco. Nobody wants Joe Flacco, and Matt Barkley might even be better than him. So holy shit.
Listen, I don't see Joe going anywhere. Like I said, if Zach may be on the out, I didn't think he was going to make it there. Like, it was one of the things. I think it was something we talked about. Towards the end of the season, that we didn't think he was going to be on the roster. Come this time, and here we are, and he's still here. So I mean, I don't think that Zach's going to be one of those guys. Like I said, I think it's going to be Andre Dillard's going to be one of these guys that does get moved if Howie does make another move. I'm gonna stick to my guns with that.
I think at this point they want to keep her just because they realize there's not like if he had trade value, they would have already traded him.
Jay wants to know where's the best place to go bet.
It all depends where you live, home dog. Download all of them. You want to have as many different sites as possible because you want to try to find as many different lines as possible. One site might have, a certain line at, plus, 100, and another site might have it at plus 150, and, you make a little bit more bang for your buck betting on the site that has it at plus 150. So it all depends.
It's possible, but I don't know about that. Trash Can being better than Barkley. You wanna discuss that one?
We have a sports betting show, by the way, on A2D. Partnered with the Money Pop podcast and Nate Moss and Money Moss, all them guys, on the Money Pop podcast, that they're the guys to hit up.
Yeah, they've been helping Zach making some money. So Ryan's got one here. How quickly can Devontae Smith make an impact and will be impactful on a consistent basis? Yeah. I mean, I already think what you already seen early. Like he's fast, he's clean, he can run routes, he's explosive, he can get out of his cuts quick.
Yeah.
All the things you'd hoped he'd be, he is. Like I said, it really boils down to him, man. I think he's one of these guys that could make an impact early. Being consistent, I think, is probably the one thing that most wide receivers struggle through the rookie season, unless you're Justin Jefferson and to have one of those freak seasons like he did last season. Do I think he's going to have one like that? Possibly. I do think he's going to pass the 1,000-yard marker this season. I do believe that. Sure. So I guess that's the earmark of consistency in the NFL. So I guess in your lines of thought, yeah, he will be. The consistency has to be through years, not just games.
It's going to be very easy.
That's what we're looking for, and that's what I think we're going to get in this guy. What's your backing on that one, Zach?
Well, I think it's been so long since we actually had a good wide receiver that people are going to be like, oh, yeah, this one, like the idea of us to 1,000-yard receiver. We haven't had one since Jeremy Maclin, and even he was kind of like a guy like. You never felt like he was a one. You just felt like he was kind of like, a good two that really, got a lot out of, all of his ability type of thing. You never looked at him and said, yeah, he's a stud. That's a number one. Like Devontae Smith has the ability, I guess, to be like the first legitimate number one we've had since T.O., right? Like that type of impact number one receiver. You never want to compare guys to Hall of Famers, but when somebody like Chad Johnson comes out, when Chad Ochocinco comes out and talks about your footwork and things like that. Chad Ochocinco is not like a fluffer. Dude, he's not one of these guys that's
exactly.
Always, it's one of these talking out of his ass.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that he's a student.
When he gives you a stamp of approval, like it means something.
Yeah, so I mean,
when you watch Devontae, everybody wanted to talk about the Marvin Harrison comparisons. Chad Johnson might be a better comparison. Think about guys that were like, Devontae's 6 foot and 180 pounds, 6'1", $180. I mean, that was pretty much Chad Johnson his whole career. You know, and he had the quickest feet, you know, the prettiest footwork, ran the cleanest routes. Maybe you throw him and Marvin Harrison together into like one wide receiver prospect. Maybe that's like what Devontae is, and you just hope that he can become anything close to those two guys. And yeah, I mean, obviously he becomes the best wide receiver in the history of your franchise.
Eagles finished fourth. Mr. Trump did. Don't believe that one. You know, the Giants finished fourth.
Is that fake news?
Yeah, that's fake news, Mr. Trump.
Aren't
That's
you a
fake
Trumper?
news.
I thought you believed everything he said.
What? Listen, dude, he's an absolute pompous ass. He's a fucking attention whore, dude. He's just not wrong with some of the stuff.
He's just not Joe Biden. Yes, I'm aware. Yeah,
he's not a complete Jo. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Jay Koch here. You know, being a quick hitter system will force the DBs on the line of scrimmage, and that's when they take the deep shot. Yeah. I think he's gonna have Devontae Smith will probably have at least more than 5 catches of 40 yards or more this season. I think that's a safe bet.
I mean, I think,
safe bet.
I think when we talked last week, and listen, Vegas, you know, Vegas has the Eagles, especially because the Trump 2020 said the Eagles finished fourth in the division. I don't know if they finished fourth, but when you're plus 450 to win the division behind the Giants, and there's only 4 teams in the NFC East, and Vegas has you as at the worst odds. The Giants are plus 400. The Eagles are plus 450. I mean, it just the idea that, like, you know, I don't think this isn't going to be a good football team. You win 8 games, you say, wow, that's a heck of a year. First year under Nick Sirianni.
Me and you were sitting there saying like we're anywhere between 7 and 9 is where you want to be and where your ceiling is. That's this team.
Vegas has you at over and under 6.5.
And me and you already talked about this. If they can get how you get past that is if you get through the first 6 weeks of the season
500
above 500. That's how you're going to be able to surpass that marker. Yes, they'll be better. Yes, they'll make improvements. But come on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I see someone sitting there saying they were winning this division with 11 wins. I'm like, yo, listen, I love this team. That's not going to happen. 11 wins is not this team. If they do it, they prove me wrong and they get it done. Absolutely love it. But that's not the realist in me looking at this team on paper, seeing what they have to overcome. You're still questionable at the offensive line. Can they stay healthy? Can they get it done? And the same thing on the defensive line. So you definitely have to take those things into consideration.
This idea that teams stay healthy the whole year too just doesn't happen, right? So
Mr. Wing, Washington, Mr. Wing's over here. Washington to the Dolphins. Looks like Washington's using his no trade clause to block the Eagles. Listen, I don't think a whole lot of people really want him here. I don't know if it's the Dolphins is going to be the landing spot, considering that they already got Tua there, right?
Yeah, but they don't like Tua. The reports down here, Tua, like is he bad? No, but they don't ever like the idea that is he going to be the franchise guy? He's just and you know, can you win with You know, you've got to make that decision very quickly because obviously you have to pay quarterbacks $100 million, $150, $200 million. You know, rather quickly in this league, right? And you know, that's a decision that they've got to pull the trigger on one way or another. Is he the guy or not? But if they can get Watson, I think they would absolutely pull the trigger and trade him. They feel like they've got the firepower to do that. At least that's from everything I hear that goes around down here in the Florida sports media.
I don't know if he was using it.
Destination.
I think he may be right about that, but I don't think he was right about using it to block the Eagles. I don't
understand. That doesn't really make any sense to me. Watson has no leverage right now until any of his court cases get settled, any of his criminal stuff gets settled. Guess Ryan's a Dallas guy and Hurts and Devontae. They're going to be a problem for a while. Like they that's going to be a good connection. I hope Hurts is a problem. Yeah, I hope that ends up being the case. You know what I mean? But
what's up, Big Bryce? What's up, brother? What's up?
Yeah, this idea, like I think the best thing that he does outside of using his legs,
he thinks we're going to stink it up this year. You think we're going to stick it up? You agree with Bryce here?
Yeah, I think we're going to be pretty bad. I mean, now what is your definition of bad? If Vegas has us at over 6.5, I'd probably go over 6.5. Yeah, I'd probably
meddling again. Howie's always meddling, brother. Man, that's what he's going to do.
Well, that's why, yeah, the agent said that he's like they treat him
Bryce,
the least.
we've all been on the same page there. We think Wentz is gonna eat in Indy. I completely agree with that. Completely agree. Yep. No 11 wins. I already told you, man. Like, listen, me and Zach have been talking about it. If you get out
anybody
of
that looks at this schedule and thinks that it's like I've heard people go, like, oh, it's this. Look at all these bad teams we play. Like, look at all these bad teams we play. Like, first of all, we're a bad team. Like, that's what other teams are saying about us on their schedule. They're like, oh, look at the Eagles. That's a bad team we're playing that game. So, like, look at all the bad teams. Nobody's a bad team when you're also a bad team. But I don't think we've got very few bad teams on the schedule. A lot of average teams, maybe, above average teams.
Rob is shooting down Mr. Wing's report there, so saying that they don't want Tua.
Yeah. And I think Tua's better than Hurts.
I think that's where Wing's going with this, because they got the cap availability to kind of make it happen contract wise and things of that nature. But we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out.
Yeah, they wouldn't have. Well, yeah, they draft Waddle because they think he could play. Yeah, they're hoping that just like we draft Devontae because they think it helps Jalen. Jalen Hurts develop. But if Jalen Hurts doesn't develop, what do you think about this one from Jay? You move on.
What do you think of this one from Jay? If Sirianni's 75% the play caller that Andy Reid we're set, because dude, like, and he's right. We have some burners on the outside. Devontae Smith is going to be amazing. I think Jalen Reagor is going to kind of finally get into his skin a little bit this year. We'll see it. We'll really see if Quez Watkins is more than just a few things. Well, if he's able to be one of these guys that we're able to kind of find one of those diamonds in the roughs that we've been kind of praying for. We missed out on from time to time over the years. Let's hope that we get something like that in a guy like Quez, and he's able to be a young burner that we need him to be.
Now, what if Jalen comes in, and starts the year, the first 8 games of the year or whatever, in that hard stretch we talk about, Jalen Hurts is, not as bad as he was last year, but say, there hasn't really been the improvement you wanted to see. He's only completing, 56 to 58% of his passes, and the fumbles are still a huge issue.
I think that's fair, right? You think this is a fair assessment from an NFC?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we're over under 6.5 wins, I've got us at 7. Like maybe 8.
Yeah, exactly.
What I mean? Like something like that. But
yeah, you may have 1 or 2 more than where Vegas has, and that's kind of where I'm sitting at. I agree that we'll beat the G-men twice this year. That they might be as bad as he's got it down right there. We were a dumpster fire last year, and yeah, it's smoldering right now. Let's see if we can they can finish cleaning up the act. We'll see how the retooling of the rebuild is coming along here.
It's a fair way to describe the offense, Steven? If we describe the offense as being, inconsistent but explosive. Inconsistent but explosive. Can that be a thing? Like, Jalen might be inconsistent, at the quarterback position from a efficiency standpoint, but I still feel like we're going to see some big plays down the field where he's going to hit guys like Reagor and Smith and Watkins, and we're going to see some big explosive plays down the field for big touchdowns and all that. But still, at the end of the day, you could see a guy who's, still got, huge issues as far as what it takes, at the quarterback position, as far as what it takes to be the franchise guy. I want to see, for me, the big issue last year was not going from A to B to C. It seemed like he was now that can help you. When you got me and you playing receiver, obviously that can happen. You might just ignore B and C altogether. You're like, yeah, that's Steven out there. He stinks, right? But the same issues you saw in college with Jalen Hurts did not.
It's like Necessary Roughness. It's like the movie Necessary Roughness. Don't throw it to stone hands.
Right. But and I know it was only 4 games and it's a small sample size. But you're talking about a dude that had all the whole year getting reps with the 1s and 2s, played a lot of time, seeing reps and stuff like that. In games from Doug Peterson at stupid situations and shit like that, right? He steps in, and at no point does he seem Yeah, but in Oklahoma, his big thing at Oklahoma, and they play in such a simple offense.
Just to let you know, that Neris got out of the eighth, unscathed, and the Phillies are still riding high 4-0.
Yeah, he was solid at Oklahoma, but his big thing at Oklahoma was he could come off his first read right away, and if the first read wasn't there, he could just take off and use his legs and run and still be an explosive game-breaking player. It's one of those things where he can't, he's got to make that improvement, and you didn't see that at any point last year. Not that he can't do that now, but when you go a whole year taking reps with ones and twos, and then you get 4 games starting, and you complete 52% of your passes with just as many turnovers as touchdowns, and at no point do I see you go, become a guy that can go through reads and not, want to just tuck the ball and run when the first read isn't there. You got to give him an offseason. I mean, have my eyes not told me enough about what that seems like something that just instinctually to him, that's what he wants to be. And he's not Michael Vick. Like, Michael Vick could do that because he was Michael fucking Vick. But
he also had a cannon, too.
you know what I'm saying? I
agree with Jay's point here where Hurts is more of a touch passer, where Wentz was just shotgunning. He throws a pretty deep ball. That's the best thing that he does, in my opinion. From an accuracy standpoint, he's got a really pretty deep ball. I don't think his intermediate game is all that strong. We'll have to see everything with the short passing game. But if he can use his legs the way he does and cut down on turnovers and be able to hit big plays down the field, inconsistent but explosive, you can win football games, at least, if you keep yourself in games with this defense, you'll be able to have a chance to win games at the end. It's just, long term, it's not really that recipe for success. And I don't see the guy, though, that like these people that want him to, he can turn into Russell Wilson. No, he's never going to be a guy that completes 70% of his passes. I just don't see that being a thing. Like, I just don't see a guy that's going to go complete 68, 70% of his passes and throw, 40 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, like and put up video game numbers the way a guy like that does. I just don't see that with my eyes. But that doesn't mean he can't win you football games and be a good quarterback in this league. I just think we really have to tone down. Like, it drives me crazy to hear that shit. Now, here's a good point that we have to talk about. From
I agree. I've been saying that since the start.
Gainwell will become the second running back, and Boston Scott, and we'll start losing some carries. And
if you watched his tape at Memphis, I think he played at Memphis, I believe. And he played receiver out there too. Like,
here you go. Here's the nonsense part of the fan base that we have to deal with when Minshew QB1.
Well, listen, that could happen very easily, right? I mean, Hurts gets
with some injuries. I agree.
Hurts runs and dives for a first down and gets cracked as he's diving for a first down, and next thing you know, he misses a few weeks with whatever. Hurts gets sacked and rolled up in an awkward position with a high ankle sprain. He misses 5 weeks. Yeah, Minshew's.
I don't know if I would say I don't say the strongest quarterback. I don't know.
Nonsense like this drives me fucking nuts.
I don't know what
Josh
you mean
Allen grew up on a farm in fucking Wyoming, like fucking bench pressing like barrels of fucking hay and shit, and wrangling steers to the fucking ground, wrestling steers to the ground. And you're over here talking to me about Jalen Hurts being the strongest quarterback in the NFL. Why? Because
of course.
Because he put out is that Chris Coleman?
Was that Chris Coleman? Of course, Mr. Trump is behind Minshew Mania, right, brother?
It was Chris Coleman's burner account. They might both be Chris Coleman's burner account. Because there was some video of him. This one I can't stand. Just when people talk about us like, did you see it? We won the joint practice. No, I don't give a fuck. Just like I don't give a fuck that Jalen was squatting however many pounds last year in that stupid weightlifting video with a bunch of other grown men around cheering him on. Like, that was really like a weird video. Like, I don't think it's not impressive. We're not in middle school. This isn't high school. Like, why are we having a dick swinging contest in the middle of an NFL locker room?
I agrees with you there, John. There you go.
Squat or whatever the fuck he was doing. Who cares? That didn't help him hold on to the football any better last year with 9 fumbles in 4 games. Holy shnikes. That's more than 2 a game for people that can't do math.
You want to still talk a little bit more football? Or you want to get into these Phils who are up 4-0 in the bottom of the 8th?
Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Okay? Nobody. Alec Boehm's in the minor leagues, for God's sakes. And that's how over this season is. Okay?
And who
You
would
know,
have thought
Yogi Berra used to say
who would
that.
have thought
You know, Yogi Berra used to say it's not over till it's over. Well, I just got a phone call from the Yogi Berra estate. It's over. You 4 fumbles were by Kelsey Snap. I don't give a fuck. He's Jalen Hurts. He's supposed to be such a good fucking athlete. Fucking catch the goddamn bad snap. How many bad snaps did Wentz? Wentz had all those bad snaps from Kelsey, but it was always put on Wentz. How you got to hold on to the football? You can't fumble the goddamn ball. You do some research. How many times did he run with the goddamn ball and fumble it as he dove into a pile? A lot.
Easy Money said thanks for holding him accountable. Thanks for holding him accountable, Zachary.
Just saying.
Listen. All right, if it's on Kelsey, then why was he still elected to the Pro Bowl? Did I miss something?
You know, great. There was some bad snaps. Guess what? When there's bad snaps, quarterbacks have to adjust for the bad snap. Like when there's a bad snap to my punter, guess what? Like it's always on the punter. Or when there's a bad snap to my field goal, holder, you expect your field goal holder to handle the bad snap and get it down. That's what you're there for. Like same thing with my quarterback. Yes, I get it was a bad snap. Okay, great. And you didn't do anything to catch it. And then on top of it, you tried to pick it up and run with it and fumbled it and doing that instead of just falling on it to begin with. So you just compounded Jason Kelsey's mistake by making it worse. Picked it up and tried to make some stupid play and throw an interception or something. So Kelsey with the bad snaps. Fuck off. Like these are the fanboys that drive me crazy.
See, now this part of it, I don't agree. I don't think we need receivers that are like these 6'5", guys that just go get jump balls. We've already seen that doesn't necessarily work in the NFL, like where you have to have that guy. I think the formula they have with speed, size, athleticism that they have on the outside. I don't think they need a guy that's 6'5", 230 pounds to go get. Like you can do that with your tight ends, right?
You know who was 6'5" and 230 pounds, and we thought was going to be hella good when we traded for him?
Who's that?
Dorial Green Beckham.
How about that name? Oh man, don't get me started with the freaking DPG.
I remember we made that trade. Speaking of Howie trades, that was like a Howie trade in 2017 or whatever, 2016, whatever it was. 2017. Yeah, I think that was Wentz's rookie year where we had that one. Oh man, he was supposed to be like turning into this like freak of nature next like Terrell Owens or something. I don't even know what the hell they wanted him to be. You're right, because he played more than 4 games, so it wasn't 9 fumbles in 4 games. You're right, because he played 7 games or whatever the hell the complete total was. But still, go look at the fumbles he had in the starts. I'm worried about more the 4 games that he started. There was 6 fumbles in 4 games that he started. That's still way too many. Okay, yeah, he had 3 fumbles before that in like spot duty and shit. He had 6 fumbles in 4 games as the starter. And and then but the game against Dallas or whatever, just really ugly with the 4 interceptions or 3 picks or whatever it was that he threw.
Jay, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be a great coach, but I think he's going to do his best to put Hurts in those things. I
agree there. Yeah, it's going to be something like if Jalen doesn't do this well, they just won't make him do it, and they're going to try to mask it the best they can. Yes, we're aware that he had bad snaps. That doesn't make not like the quarterback's still responsible for handling a bad snap. When a pitcher makes a bad pitch in baseball, the catcher didn't we blame the catcher for not blocking it, right? It's not it was a bad pitch, so who cares? No,
I see that. That's where I was like, it doesn't necessarily
and make a play on it.
And to kind of move on to since big boy Greg's up in the house and he agrees at a poll that he thinks in the next
Greg's
2 weeks.
One of those degenerates. Me and Greg will be wheeling and dealing. Yeah, Greg's one of them guys. Greg's the type of dude that goes to the roulette table and throws 1,000 down on red just because.
Let's go.
Greg's the type of dude that he'll be like, give me 1,000 on black, and he is like, no, just because.
Listen, I'll take a team of Tyreek Hills. What's wrong with that?
Yeah,
listen, I'm not sitting there saying all these guys are going to be Tyreek Hills. I'm just sitting there saying they've made this offense. They've made this offense to kind of accentuate what makes Jalen a special guy. Where Carson needed other type of guys, and you just kind of kept repackaging things and trying to say that this is it. That wasn't it. you have what could be a really explosive, fun formula with what you have on the outsides with Watkins, with Devontae Smith, what you could have on the inside with Rager, Ward, whoever you wind up keeping in that spot. So I'm just sitting there saying you just call them elusive midgets, but listen, man, these guys are going to make plays and do
right?
that.
It's just not like, again, there's so much more to playing the receiver position, right? Like you just, again, it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, what the deal is there. Like there's so much to it. Be able to run clean routes, be able to use your leverage the way that you need to, be able to catch the ball with your hand. Here you go. Easy money. He's going to fucking expose it. But, receivers, the routes, the leverage, understanding how to get, defensive backs called for pass interference penalties, understanding where you're at and using your feet on the sidelines, right? Understanding how to, run pick plays cleanly without getting called for offensive pass interference calls and shit like that. It all goes into the art of playing, the wide receiver position. I don't know. I respect everybody on coaching staff. I'm excited about that. I don't hate any of the young Gannon. He excites. Young defense. You can't ever go wrong. With young assistants, right? Like you just can't. Like today's NFL, that's the way you win. You don't repackage guys. Like this guy was a head coach at 3 other places. Now those guys don't seem to win anymore in the NFL, right? It's just not the way it goes.
Rod, don't you wish that bad karma on? And he's still going to do his thing. I don't really see him, getting injured. He doesn't have to have a great year. I think he's on a good football team that's going to make the playoffs, and he's going to wind up getting a chance. Whether he falters, whether he he evolves, he finds another place is completely up to him at this point in time. And no, Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump, he will not sell the most jerseys in Eagles history. That's not gonna happen.
But
it's all right, brother.
Go back to the other comment. Go back to the other comment.
Oh, well, with this one?
Yeah. No.
Or the one before, or this
one
one
we were just talking about. No, before that one. The one we were talking about right before that one, Steven.
This one?
Yes, that one. Yes, the Wentz one. I think how great of a year. What's a great? I don't know what we're classifying as a great year. I don't. I'm not saying he's gonna go win an MVP award or anything like that. But for the first time ever in his career, Carson's in a position where he doesn't feel like the entire weight of the world is on his shoulders. Like in Philly, he felt like he had to carry this team on his back. It just there came a stretch, where that was just the case. He really did. Like 2019, he absolutely had to do that. And it kind of like you kind of felt like the whole world was on his shoulders at one point, and he felt the weight of that. Whereas now he's in Indy, and it's like great team around him, great coaching staff, comfortable relationships with the people around him. They're not going to make
a good offensive line
times a game. Good offensive line, good running game, right? They understand how to use the running game and stick to it, type of thing. Multiple different running backs there, and guys that can do different things. Young receiver Michael Pittman, who can turn out to be a stud. Veteran receiver and T.Y. Hilton, who's an all-pro in this league. He's in a position where all you just got to do is step in and be him. Just be that guy. Like don't try to do too much. And he's in a city that's just going to let him relax and do that, and not like sit here and be up his ass about everything constantly the way we were. I mean, I remember people ripping this dude on social media in this city because he was going hunting. Oh, well, if he didn't spend all that time hunting and killing deer and he'd spend more time reading his playbook, he'd be a better quarterback. Like, the guy can't hunt and fish in his free time? Like, oh, that's a problem now? Like, good Lord, no wonder the dude's more happy in a place like Indianapolis. They're going to go hunting and fishing with him. They're going to join the fishing trip. Like, at some point, and maybe that, maybe that's people are like, oh, he just wasn't made for Philly. Well, not everybody is, but you know what? Like, we're also a bunch of assholes at times too in this fan base, and like we sit here and make it into a player.
I agree with Jay. Isn't that the thing I think we're more worried about right now is what we're actually going to see from the defense?
Yeah,
because it's always blame when we're in the preseason. I guess is we have to see what we're going to get out of it.
You won't know what we have with any of that for the first few weeks. But we're playing the Falcons week 1, and we're over here fucking around, going to be treating it like it's a preseason game. As Matt Ryan throws for like 450 and cakes 5 touchdowns on our ass, like. It could get ugly. Like, oh, like maybe this is why we should have fucked around in the preseason.
What about this one? Rod's got an unpopular opinion. He thinks it's going to be Cleveland and Buffalo, and the Chiefs are going to be deceived.
the Chiefs go to their third straight Super Bowl and win 2 or 3 and become a dynasty. It's not Buffalo or Cleveland's time yet.
Not yet.
I think
Not
Baltimore takes a step back. Lamar Jackson thinks, like somebody had talked about something about the league catching up to him, and he goes, "Yeah." He's like, "That's funny." He's like, "Hasn't happened yet, never will." You're like, "Wait, what? Like, you don't think the league's caught up to you yet, Lamar? Like, we've seen you struggle in the playoffs 2 straight years. We've watched teams be able to shut you down when they force you to throw the ball. This is not good. A guy with this much arrogance and
wow.
People call something confidence. That's not confidence. To sit there and go, "Oh, the league hasn't figured me out."
By the way,
Yeah, they have, and that's not the right attitude ever to have as a player. Like, you should always be like, "Yeah, I'm always trying to work to get better as a player, so that the league can't figure me out." Right? Sit there and be like, "Nope, they haven't figured me out, and they never will." Those are guys that crash and burn real quick. Guys with that mentality.
By the way, brother, 6-0 Phillies. Bases are loaded with 1 out.
In the top of
the 8th. No, it
top of
was
the
the
8th.
bottom of the 8th. It's bottom of the 8th.
Oh, so we're batting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I mean, like, I'm not like, fuck, like, yeah, we, dude, like, it's not an accomplishment.
I agree that.
Steven, see how excited? You're like, oh, look, it's 6-0 in the bottom of the 8th. Like, we're playing the Diamondbacks. This should not, like, we should not be this excited about this.
Am I excited?
You sounded excited, yeah.
I'm just letting you know. I just wanted to see your reaction.
Matt Mayalata is good value for a 7th. Well, yeah.
Well, considering he's about to be the starting left tackle, and that we have some flexibility where we could probably move a guy like Dillard for whoever needs it. Who needs a left tackle? Let's go.
Yeah.
He needs a new change of scenery,
Who does Josh Allen win your MVP award this year?
Does he win the NFL MVP? I don't know, man. Like he's a
sexy bet in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Lamar hasn't had much for weapons. Oh my God, good Lord, who is that? Lamar hasn't had much for weapons. They've built an entire offensive system around him. They know what he does best and what he doesn't do well at all, and they've literally built a system around him to hide the things he doesn't do well. And only, have him do the things that he's good at. Don't give me that he doesn't have any weapons around him.
NFC, he's like, I think he was talking to NFC Beast.
No, he was.
He was talking about because what he's talking about.
Somebody called Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. This comment where he said he stop with the BS. I don't really think it's BS because he hasn't shown us that once you take the pocket, when you take his running lanes away from him and he's forced to throw, he hasn't shown you that he can consistently beat you. Is what I guess everyone's saying. Like, how
winning
the
an
league
MVP
is
award,
catching up to him.
In your second, I mean, like he wins an MVP award in his second year. Nobody's really figured anything out yet. Now, now you're going into year 4, and people really figured him out last year. To sit there, like, if you watched Ravens games, defenses figured him out. Like, they figured out how to slow that Ravens offense down, and when they put them in bad positions and were able to slow them down and make Lamar do everything, and be like, okay, your leg, you're going to have to throw the ball here, dude. Like, you can't just run around or throw the ball and try to beat us. And he couldn't do it. Like, there was no point, and there hasn't been any point in his career when he's been forced to throw the ball, come from behind and do things like that, where he has to say, my legs can't just go out and I can't just use them today to beat a team. I have to, showcase my arm talent. The arm talent isn't good enough to beat good defenses. That, great. When you beat up on bad teams and win MVP awards because you just dropped drop 50 on a bad team and lit somebody up,
Well, I think Rod, I think Zach already told you one of his sleepers.
500 total offensive yards. Great, good for you. But that doesn't mean anything when you're playing Kansas City, or Tennessee, or these playoff teams that have proven to be able to have have an answer for him.
So Rob wants to know who do you think is the sleeper in the AFC, NFC? Who do you want to make it the Super Bowl? Well, I think one of the sleeper things that he already said is that he thinks Baltimore takes a step back. I mean, that's still a surprise sleeper type of thing. But who do you think is going to surprise the NFL? I guess is he's going to say, and who do you like coming out of each side? For I guess
the Chargers will be surprisingly really good. The Chargers might be a playoff team. The Chargers probably be the second best team in the AFC West, and they might even be able to challenge Kansas City for that division, depending on everything that happens with Kansas City from an offensive line perspective, protecting Mahomes. They can win 12 games. Go back and look how many one-score games they were involved in last year, and their record in like one-score games. And they had a rookie quarterback. Like, they could be a really good football team.
Right, so
they're not far off.
We're getting a few comments in here for sleepers and things of that nature. We'll come back to that one in a second. Let's hear what some of the fans. Mr. Ring wants to say that the Cardinals. I actually think if we're gonna look in that division, that the Rams should be the teams that you're looking at, because they're gonna have Matthew Stafford this year, and they already have a really good defense over there. And I know Aaron Donald's getting a little bit older, and a lot of people are looking at guys like Chase Young as the next up and coming dominant defensive lineman here in the NFL. But I think if I'm gonna go, I like the Rams. As someone in the NFC, I think is going to surprise people.
Absolutely.
They've been on kind of on a downward trend the last few seasons. Under Jared Goff, a lot of people saying, "Hey,
really good system."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Talent, really good system,
and that's another one. Everyone's saying like, "Oh, they figured out McVay and things like that." I just think he ran his course through what he had with Jared Goff. And I actually think I'm excited to see what Matthew Stafford does outside of that Detroit Lions organization. I think it's something I would have hoped would have happened a few years ago. Him just get another crack in another city in a fresh look. Hopefully he still has enough gas in the tank to be able to be able to get him in the playoffs, get him into potential Super Bowl contention. He has a team that he could do it. AFC team. Here's another one from NFC.
Cleveland's a good sleeper in the AFC. I like Cleveland as a
Tennessee,
sleeper.
but he has the Washington football team, and we cannot forget about that defense. And Terry McLaurin is still a guy here in the and he's absolutely given us fits here in Philadelphia. So they're a team that I think we should respect. I respect Washington right now more than I respect Dallas. I think that Dallas is kind of overinflated like they typically are, and it's one of these things I'm not interested in any of the Dallas type right now.
I think the Cardinals are extremely.
You like that Cardinal pick from Mr. Wing?
I think they're extremely overhyped. I think.
Oh, you think they're overhyped? Oh, so you disagree?
I think for the past 2 years, I think the people are way too overhyped on Kyler Murray. Cliff Kingsbury stinks. To be honest, I think Cliff Kingsbury's garbage. Like, they got all this talent with like a bottom 10 head coach in the NFL. Like, Cliff Kingsbury's done absolutely nothing for me.
Hey, I like the fact that we got the Dolphins pick. So.
How do you have a losing record with Patrick Mahomes? I don't care who's playing around him at Texas Tech. How do you have a losing record with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback? You know how bad you got? That's an indictment on you as a head coach when you had a losing record with Patrick Mahomes with your quarterback. The Big 12 ain't that good. Texas wasn't that good. The only good team in the Big 12 was Oklahoma, right? You shouldn't have a losing record with Texas Tech against some other really average Big 12 teams with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. But Cliff Kingsbury, is he that? I don't get it. I know he's good looking. I don't understand. Pretty face to run your franchise, be the face of everything. I don't get the hype around a football team with a dude that has never even had a winning record as a head coach at any level.
All right. Well. With that, let's kind of switch gears real quick, and our guest is in the back. So this next segment is brought to you by Manscaped. Use the code A2D, 20% off for free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence as always. Use the right tools for the job. And with that being said, our guest for this afternoon is here. Welcome back, Chris. first and foremost, he's got the beard going. Love it.
Yeah. Full beard. Loving it.
Yeah, man. I don't think I've ever seen you with a full beard. I love it, brother.
Nah, dude, this is my first full beard, so enjoy it, man.
Yeah, man. Are you going to shave it? Are you going to keep it for the fight?
Scraggly beard on the show. You can't
He's
be
beating-
one-upping
he's
me on
beating
my
us
own
down.
show.
Chris is beating us down with the beard.
This is good. This is good. This is a good beard right here.
Yeah, man. Like I said, normally when I've seen you, it's always clean shaven. You keeping it for the fight, man.
Always clean shaven, yeah. Yeah. Definitely keeping it for the fight. So we'll see how it goes. I'll trim it up a little bit. This is freshly trimmed up. Thanks to everyone at Electric Barbering Company over there hooking me up with a haircut and a beard. So really appreciate you guys.
Hey, there you go. Definitely got to give them the plug these days with everything going on in the world, right? Got to support everybody. Right. And speaking of support, right. One of your new teammates that did her thing last night, Helen Peralta, got the win in Invicta. You guys are continually growing over there at Martinez. She's one of the newer additions. Obviously, I think this is her first fight camp for there at Martinez. I think she's been training for a while, but definitely interested to see what Will's able to kind of work in there with Helen. She's one of kind of the underrated fighters, at least in my opinion, regardless if she's sticking with MMA or if she goes back and does some bare knuckle boxing, whatever she winds up deciding to do.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a great addition to the team. Even outside of the gym, she's a great individual. She's a great person. She stuck to the game plan last night, and she got the W. And it's an honor to have her at the gym. She was helping Cressida get ready for her tournament for Combate, so it's really good. But yeah, man, I mean, whether she wants to go back to bare knuckle or if she wants to stay with MMA, that's up to her. If she wants to stay at the gym and do bare knuckle, I don't think that Will's gonna have a problem with that. So.
Yeah, no, it should be interesting, just to see what she does, because she put herself in a position where she was going both ways, where she can go and do whatever she wants. So she's kind of a unique utility knife as a professional fighter. So I got to say that.
I just want to apologize for Steven's dog, by the way.
Oh man, Zeus, he never stops, man. He never stops, man. I was trying to keep him down here to see if he would be quiet.
Can't even do an interview without Steven's dog ruining everything.
It's 2 hours, man. It's 2 hours. How you keep the dog quiet for 2 hours? Come on, man. How you keep a 2-year-old quiet for 2 hours? But a lot's been going on. I know it's been a few months since we had you on here. Obviously, your fight's been canceled, rebooked, canceled again. Back on here, I think it's kind of better off. You wound up on a bigger card. UFC 266 is going to be a big event. Right here at the end of September. So we got a little bit less than a month to go. So I know you're getting into the nitty gritty of this camp right now.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in camp for like 12 weeks, 13 weeks already. So I'm just ready to actually fight. And it's been like a constant drive, like a constant battle each day just to stay motivated, just because normally my camp's over right now. I'm usually like hanging out, like eating shitty food, like having a drink or two, and I can't even do that. I'm staying in camp. So this is my new life now, is just permanently being in camp. So I'm really happy to be on a big pay-per-view card. It's something that I asked for. The UFC gave me a couple dates, and this is one of the dates that I really wanted, and they made it happen for me, and I'm really happy that they were able to do that.
Yeah, and like I said, bigger, more eyes on you. You want to keep keeping the same opponent. Was it a point to kind of keep the same opponent regardless of what happened? You guys wanted this fight. Obviously, now you're top 10 ranked there. Obviously, the fight has to make sense from here on out. It's kind of it's when you get to this point, it's not just about keeping active. It's also about what makes sense. Moving up the ladder, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I'm really the type of guy who I just want to stay active. I'm not going to be turning down fights because of rankings or lack thereof. They offered me Shamil again. They didn't they didn't offer me anyone else for this date. So they just kind of really want us to fight. So you know, I'm more than happy to scrap with this guy. So we'll see what he's made of and all that. So yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, the date just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. Hopefully he makes it this time. Hopefully I can actually fight. You know, I would think that a pay-per-view card would be enough incentive for him to show up and want to fight. So we'll see how it goes.
As one of these things, it's like you said, it's hard to kind of keep that edge and keep that mental focus when things get pushed back. Oh, is it gonna get, you know, is it gonna get pushed back again? But like you said, bigger lights, pay-per-view. You know, you got some big names on the card. I mean, obviously you got the ranking. What other incentives you're going to need? I'm sure you're more than ready to kind of get in there and you know, put your hands on them.
Yeah, you know, it's like you said, it's a big pay-per-view card. There's gonna be a lot of eyes on it. With Volkanovski, Ortega, and then everyone else. You know, the return of Diaz and all that. So it's a super exciting card to be a part of. I'm really excited for, you know, the whole International Fight Week. I've obviously never experienced that. Never experienced a full crowd, and then fighting for the UFC. So I'm really, you know, really looking forward to my first, you know, coming up in September. So it should be fun. I hope everything stays open out in Vegas, and we get a good crowd going, and you know, it's a great experience for me and my team.
Is that some of the stuff like you said? It's your first time, you know, doing the international fight. You're gonna have some fun with that. Are you kind of getting all your you know, T's crossed, I's dotted, making sure everything's good, you know, with the passport, with all, because obviously, you know, I've seen some things where some fighters, you know, both traveling internationally and coming back, you know, making sure they have, you know, all the proper documentations for, you know, vaccinations and everything and all that going on too.
Yeah, everything's good. I think the last little bit that I just have to figure out is whether or not I'm going to be doing any kind of media. And then, you know, obviously it's a big pay-per-view card. I just want to make sure that I'm dressed appropriately and I'm not just, you know, dressed in like a t-shirt and shorts. So waiting to hear about my fight week schedule and media day schedule. So once I figure that out, I'll be able to plan and dress accordingly.
Hey, there you go. Well, that's why I'm glad I got you in early. I wanted to make sure I got you in for this one, because I know how you get the last few weeks. You don't leave me alone. It's fight time.
Yep, that's it. It's fight time. Yeah.
So and that's what you're saying. Hey, figure out what media responsibilities I'm gonna have for the UFC. If I actually got to put the suit on.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting and fun to, you know, handle all the crazy questions that get thrown at you during media day. So it'll be good.
And speaking of craziness, have you been able to keep up with any of the Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley nonsense over the last few days? You know, obviously, you know, he's gone a little too far with bringing Mama Woodley in. You know, I'm pretty sure the whole MMA community was unanimously on Tyron Woodley's side at this point.
Yeah, I have a total issue. Tell me you're not more offended by the fact that he said your grandfather had Mike Tyson, you know, and Muhammad Ali. Your daddy had Floyd Mayweather, and today's generation's got Jake Paul. When he was talking about the top prize fighters in the entire world. Are you kidding me right now?
Listen, I can't get him.
Somebody beat the shit out of this clown for me.
I would have to say, if I say anything, he's a master troll. He's a master of getting people to kind of talk about him at this point in time.
He understands how to build a brand and get people to pay a lot of money to see it.
Listen. I respect some of the things he do. He's a poor man's Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor is kind of falling down the cliff right now. So. It's just
falling down the cliff with $100 million, Stephen.
Dude. It's still a matter. Listen, it doesn't matter.
See what I mean?
Listen, he's gonna make that money, but does money mean everything? Like when you're a fighter, Listen, sometimes it's about.
yeah.
I mean, it's like granted, it is about money. He's in a great position. I granted a lot of fighters would want to be in that position, but also at the same time, do you want to lose your integrity? Wouldn't you rather have some type of legacy outside of just like, oh, I got to make freaking $50 million over a fight where I probably should have never been in the ring, cage, etc.
You can't lose something you never had.
Yeah, some people just it doesn't matter to them. All they care about is the money, and obviously
He's like
that's all he
integrity.
cares about. Yeah, he has. No
I sold my soul to the devil when I was 10 years old.
It's well and clear that dude don't have an ounce of it. None.
Yeah,
How much would you enjoy kicking his ass?
I would love doing that, especially if I got to kick his ass and get paid like some people are getting paid. Like I just seen it today. Like Woodley's going to be making in the high, 7 figures. Like I'm fine with that. Like he's not making
give me 5 figures, I'll kick his ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think I seen Luke Thomas make the comment that if Tyron Woodley stops Jake Paul tonight, that he would probably be more beloved for that fight than he ever was during his championship run in the UFC. And I was like, you know what? He's right, and that's sad.
Yeah, that's definitely sad. But the state of affairs as of right now, Woodley he'll go down in MMA history as one of the best champions that there was at that weight class. I just think that if he does this, with everything, just because it's the recency bias, everyone's all against Jake Paul.
Oh yeah.
Everything that he's saying, and everyone hates him at the moment. He's making a lot of people look at what he's doing, and like you said, he's a master troll. He's building his brand. He's making himself money because people are going to pay for the pay-per-view, and people are going to sit there and watch him and hopefully watch him get knocked out. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm not paying for it as much as I love Amanda Serrano too, and I have massive amount of respect for Amanda Serrano, but like it's just like listen, it gets to a certain point, and I was just like I have a thing like if I don't agree with how you present yourself as a person, I'm probably not going to throw money your way. As much as who you may have involved with it, just it gets to that point sometimes, and just like I think he's reached to that point, man.
Yeah, definitely. But you know what? If people they want to support the fighters who are on the undercard, and the only way that they can do that is by buying the pay-per-view, because if they get, whether that they get a cut of that or if they get a percentage or somehow their
like any one of their if they were putting something out, I'd definitely like retweet it or share it or whatever, let people know about it. But like me personally, it's like one of the things like are you gonna like let your kids tune into that type of freak show type things?
No.
It's one of the things like my kids, I'd rather them watch one of the local events with local promoters or something like that before I would let them go to that one. And like I said, as much as you respect some of the other ones, it's just how it goes and how some of us are brought up, and just hopefully Tyrone's the kind of the one that knocks it out of them. Hopefully,
I really hope that he pulls it off. I mean, like you said, all of Twitter, all of MMA Twitter is really pulling for him to win, and I really hope that he does it, man, because I don't know if I could take another him calling out another MMA fighter and then running it back.
I'm with you there, and it's one of the. I think the thing that really
with his ass tonight, I don't like. For me, I don't see any scenario in how Tyron Woodley doesn't whip his ass.
The consensus that you hear on social media is like, oh, well, he was a world-class wrestler. He's really not a fighter. I'm like, does anyone remember Tyron Woodley not like obliterating guys as he was going?
Yeah, literally,
he's running the strike force, and he wasn't really he would use his wrestling, but if he knew that he had hands on you, he would use them, and he was fairly good at it. Like he wasn't going to catch everybody. Nobody's going to catch everybody, but people who are on the outside looking in, thinking you're just going to look at his wrestling credentials and just sitting there saying like he's not going to be able to do something. Yeah, he's got a tall task ahead of him. Jake Paul's an athlete. We can't take it. I'm not going to take that away from the Paul brothers. They are legitimate athletes. I'm going to say that.
Sure.
But listen, there's levels to it, and I think Tyrone's going to show Jake there is some levels to this.
Does Jake Paul not remind you of the cocky, like the overconfident athlete in school that Tyron Woodley knocked the head off of? You know what I mean? That's the vibe I get. Like Like that's the
That's
type
what
of
I'm
dude that,
hoping
like,
for.
if you're Tyron
Yeah.
Woodley, you went around the school looking for it just to knock their head off.
He's made himself into the punk kid role. What if that's what you think is gonna make you popular and is gonna make you money? Go right ahead. Hopefully,
Clearly, it's making him money. I mean, look, we're
clearly.
talking about him. There's
Can't
gonna be a
fault that
bunch
part
of people.
of it. Yeah, he's got
there's
that
gonna
part
be a bunch
figured
of
out.
people buying it. You know, it's
And then here's
yeah.
the other side of it. Now him going after Dana, basically sitting there saying like what happens, and like him sitting there saying he's gonna punch it. Like that part of it's kind of, I think, kind of the whole PR promotional kind of thing, and him trying to make himself relevant, like and setting himself up if he wins this fight to kind of be able to foot door himself into to your guys' roster, which I would find absolutely freaking despicable.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was talking about
me
whole,
personally.
like,
If I was Dana, and I was going to entertain him, make him go through the house, please.
Yeah,
make him go through the house. Y'all make Himbo go through the house. If y'all make Himbo go through the house, make this fool go through the house.
Yeah, I don't think he'll. I think he'll just stick with boxing. It's what he's comfortable with. It's what he's dedicated his life to as of now, with everything. So I don't see him.
He's a big kid. He's made a name for himself, but hopefully he's one of these fads that flames out, and we don't have to hear about it too much anymore.
Well, here's the thing: if Woodley beats him, they did have the rematch clause in their contract, so they will do it again. So we're probably gonna have to go through this shit again if and when Woodley beats him. So that's a thing that you have to expect. So we'll see.
The world of combat sports that we live in. I gotta ask you, man. We're getting close to football season. Are you getting pumped, man?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. I missed the second preseason game, but I caught a little bit of the first one, so I'm interested to see what the Birds are gonna be able to actually be able to do this year. So we'll see. My hopes are not too high, just with everything going on.
That's one of the things. Like me and Zach, and we were talking with the fans as we were coming over. You we're like right around where Vegas has us, but like we're sitting there saying like our ceiling's at 9, possibly 10 wins, depending how you work at the first handful
We're not
of the
reaching
season.
10.
We're not reaching. We're not.
I agree. I will shave my head if we win more than 10 games.
All right, well,
we're gonna bring you back to that. Dude.
So there you go. Yeah.
Watch now. I just jinxed it, and the Eagles are going to be the best team in football.
16-0. Here they go. Watch.
Zach's gonna have to lose his ponytail.
I won't say we won't win the division, but I don't think we win 10 games.
What do you say? Are you excited for the speed they put around Jalen Hurts is kind of more what they've done for Carson Wentz over the last handful of seasons, and they've actually kind of made an offense around them. Where Carson, they were just kind of throwing darts at the dartboard and hoping he would stick and stay together.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited to see how Hurts handles everything, and running the offense and how it's his team now, and how everything is going to go, and how his leadership abilities and everything like that. I'm really excited to see that.
I'm just excited for the season to start and stop seeing fans and media get overly excited about joint practices.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
I mean, I know we miss football. Listen, I get it. We all miss football, but when you get to the point where you're going across social media, you're watching some of the guys, and like Jalen Hurts went 13 of 14 in practice today. I'm like, wait, what? Are we doing
Nick
this?
Nick Mullins went like 20 of 21 with 5 touchdowns the one day in practice. Who cares?
It's practice. We're talking about practice.
The whole point is you're supposed to complete every pass. Like, it's just not that hard. Like,
but I'm just saying that the asinine thing of it, this is like someone going to practice over at Martinez is watching Chris and be like, you know what? He was 3 for 4 in his takedowns today. He was really efficient. Like, come on,
exactly,
guys.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know you won your sparring? Did you know you won your sparring match at training the other week? Did you know you won? Right. I mean, you that happened. That was a thing.
Yeah.
High five.
Oh man, it's one of the things we love media in our town sometimes, but we are a little bit over the top sometimes. We're
definitely our own worst enemies when it comes to a lot of those things. We expect a lot out of the teams, but then they don't deliver, and is that us on just getting our hopes up? Like, every other sports team out there or a sports fan out there, but
Well,
that's
just like
why
the Phillies.
when it comes
It's
to
just
the
like watching the
Braves,
Phillies. Me and
Yeah.
Zach. I was like, Zach, we were talking Phillies. He's like, don't you? He's like, there's nothing to talk about. They're done.
Yeah.
When we got swept by the Diamondbacks, it was over. Like it's over.
Yeah.
You can't get swept by the worst team in baseball. Like that's just not a thing that
Nah,
playoff
it's not
teams
good.
do.
That's not good.
Yeah,
And you can almost tell that we've kind of thrown in the towel because now Reese Hoskins is on the DL, and it's over.
Yeah.
Like
I already said it's
the
crazy
team
that
thinks it's over.
I said it was fun. I didn't get a chance to get it out. It's crazy that Reese was kind of the glue that held this team together this season. Like, when we came into it, like we kind of felt like Reese was kind of one of these inconsistent guys. You didn't really know what to expect of him, but when everything came down to it, he was kind of the linchpin that held this team together.
Yeah, he definitely earned his contract and everything like that. So I'm really excited to see about him, and then going forward with everything. But I mean, I was only at one Phillies game this year, and that's it.
I made it to one with the one that was the doubleheader. We got rain delayed and wound up winning the last
probably
game.
felt more like a 1998 Veteran Stadium atmosphere than it really did anything close to what it should feel.
You're right. You're right. Like, because listen, we know what this team is right now. We know we still got a few things, and it's particularly arms and being able to get some more production out of that inner infield. In my opinion, I think you have to do something with DD as much as you love what he's done. I don't think he's the guy there. Love Gene Segura, just don't think he's quite the player he used to be anymore. Those are guys that you might have to look into moving on from over the next few years. You do have a good nucleus. It's just, God, man, if you would hit on just some of your draft picks and it's not being just to have to throw them away just to go bring in guys because you can't draft. It's just one of the rough things that all of our organizations have been historically bad at. It's just drafting.
Yeah, and then like even like the farm leagues or like the minor leagues, like no one's talking about any of the players that are coming up or anything like that. Like you said, it's we waste draft picks in all sports and all across the city, and then we're kind of like scrambling to trade to try and do better. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully something changes, but it's been this way for how many years? So I'm not getting my hopes up too much.
No, dude, I'm totally with you there, Chris. Dude, we've been in this town long enough to say it's like it, especially with who the guys you have running shipping. We're talking stupid money here with the Philadelphias. We don't got stupid money. We're having wildly inconsistent, hitting, pitching, and with guys who probably shouldn't be on this team. You look at the Sixers. It's just they're still a piece or two away, and you're still holding on to one of these pieces for whatever reason. Where when it's probably time to move on. That'll probably be the thing. We were talking earlier about how we were talking about Zach Ertz would probably be one of these guys that we were talking about around. Back in February that we were talking probably wouldn't be on this team, that he's still here now. Now we were talking about back in March and April, Ben Simmons wasn't going to be on this team, and it's almost looking like he might still be on this team. So it's one of these things. Like, here we go. We're gonna regurgitate this whole thing over again.
And that's the thing. We have guys who come to this town, whether it's a trade or out of college, and they do really good. They'll do good for a year or 2 years, look really good, and then all of a sudden, it goes down the following year. They get traded, they get whatever. Someone else picks them up, and then they go and they look phenomenal. They look like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Whether it's they go win a championship with another team or something, and you're like, I don't know, like what the hell we're thinking as like an organization head, whether it's the Eagles or the Flyers or anybody. It's just that's what I just see as
Flyers. Steven, tell him, don't get me started on the Flyers.
Oh man, dude, that's another thing, man. He's got a disdain for that team, and that's just like, man.
Would you agree, like Chris? Does the fan base get like fired up about the weirdest things, like? Jalen Hurts can squat 500 pounds. Who cares? Like, the video comes out and like, oh my God, look, he's going to win us 3 Super Bowls now. Like, what the hell does him squatting 500 pounds have to do with like playing? Like, who cares? Like, We fall and then we
get for whatever reason as
We're
a
so
as a
weird.
fan base, we get stuck on these novelty things. This stuff
Yeah.
that shouldn't mean anything. We
Carson
fall
Wentz
in love with.
pushes too much. We don't like him, right, Stephen? But Jalen Hurts can squat 500 pounds, so give him $100 million or something. It's just a weird thing. And I actually think the kid's good.
Yeah, we're all just trying to like pick at little things that we can like keep our hopes up. Like, oh, he's really good in the weight room, so maybe he can transfer that over. Like, no one cares that I can bench press 315. You know what I mean? Like, no one cares that I can, squat over 400 pounds or
nobody cares how nice your beard is, right? Like, you got to go kick somebody's ass.
You're just worried about whether or not I can fight. That's it, and that's how it should be. It's like, no offense to Jalen Hurts, like, that's a lot of weight, but I really don't care. It's like, can you play football or can you not play football? Like, that's all I care about, because that's what you're a quarterback, and that's what I would expect people to think about me. Like, no one cares what I'm bench pressing, no one cares when I'm cleaning, no one cares when I'm deadlifting. Just, can you fight? Can you knock people out? And that's it. So.
Hey man, and what are you feeling on this one? You feeling this guy's tough. He's well rounded. Obviously, you're well prepared. Do you feel you might put yourself in line for a bonus on this one?
I hope so, man. I mean, I just keep knocking people out, or just keep putting on really good performances, and I just go out there. I fight my fight. I fight the game plan that we have. And obviously, it's worked out great for us. So I'm just going to keep doing that. And if he could stop it, he could stop it. If not, guess what? I'm just going to run right through him too. So it doesn't matter to me.
I love it. You're on a current four fight win streak. Obviously, got this test ahead of you. You want to stay active. It doesn't matter. What are the plans? Moving forward over the next year. Well, what are you hoping to accomplish? Are you hoping to kind of move up the ladder some more, and within the next 2 years, possibly be able to make a run at a title?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll fight this fight in September. Hopefully, it goes all to plan and get out there, without any major injuries, anything like that. I'd ideally, if I could get one more fight in before the end of the year, that would be great. If not, early next year, and then I really start testing my merit and my quality of as a fighter against the top tier guys, the top fives, getting my name out there, hopefully main eventing, getting on a pay-per-view slot, and then just trying to chip away at a couple of people. So like Volkov, I know, is fighting Marcin Tybura, I think after my card, so that would be good. Rosenstrike and Blades are both fighting on the same card as me, so that'll be good. I mean, I'm in a place mentally where I'm okay with fighting those people, and I believe that I can beat any of those people. So if the UFC calls and they say they want me to fight those people, that's fine with me.
I love it, man. I love where you're at, where your trajectory has been over the last few years. Definitely, wishing you the best of skill for this one. I hope you get the bonus, man. I hope, regardless if it's a fight of the night, knockout submission, I definitely want to see you
something, man.
I want to see you put some more money in your pocket, man. When you miss two fight days, people don't understand how much that puts so much more stress and strain on what you guys have to do. It's just like you some people really don't understand all the nuances that go, not just for you guys as a fighter, but the promoters, your team, your team getting everything situated to be done in a certain way, and then you still have to go fight. There's so many things that can even. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, just even like my team taking time away from their family. Like the last time that this got canceled, it was the night before I was supposed to leave. Like I got canceled on a Monday night, and we fly out Tuesday to go to Vegas. So like everyone situated with kids, with their job, with their their spouses, with everything like that. And then for me to just be like, oh, sorry guys, like it's not gonna work out, and then them to scramble to try and go back to like a normal life for another 6 to 8 weeks. While hopefully, like, it's just but getting the win, getting everyone's name out there, getting the gym out there, and just proving that what we do with the gym is the right thing to do is what we what I really, really want to do. I just want to get that win and just keep putting everyone on notice that you don't need to be from a giant, factory of the top tier guys. You could be, Cotman or Frankfurt Gym.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you
fighting,
guys have been quietly doing your thing there for more than 5 years. Like when you say put that gym on the map, like I was like, wait, like you guys have technically already been on the map. It's just you quietly been kind of doing your things. Like I said, like you already have people, who've been fighting in the belt, or you're been in the UFC. You and your brother. I think you were like the second or third guys in your gym that's been there. You have women in your gym, like you're fighting for combatas, fighting for Invicta, BKFC, etc. Like it's just a matter of not just people seeing it, but being able to get all that. Like sometimes you like, and there's another one. What was it? Patrick just won his fight this past weekend, right? Or was it this past week?
Yeah, this past weekend. We were just down in Virginia when he was fought for Cagezilla down in Virginia. So that was really good.
So like I said, you guys have guys, girls on multiple different. Exactly. So and then this is what I just sit there and say, and like. And when people don't understand of how combat sports is in the PA area, you're one of like 3 or 4 gyms in this 25-mile period of area. You have your gym, you have Daniel's gyms, just outside of Philadelphia. You have NPR, you still have Balance down there. Like you have so many. They all have guys that are on some level, like both MMA or jiu-jitsu who are top of the chain or better.
Exactly.
So it's just a matter of time. And then like I'm sure I'm forgetting names and gyms in the area, but it's just like it's so much, and just people have to realize over the next 2 to 3 years that we're gonna be popping out so many more talent. Like I said, you have guys like yourself and Kyle. Even tonight, we got Pat Sabatini on the card. Like I said, just outside of Philadelphia. But one of the guys who's kind of always consistently training, in Philadelphia, in our area, and another one was Andre Petrosky. He's another one, didn't win in the house, but I guarantee you tonight he's gonna light some lights up.
Yeah. I mean that's what people don't realize, is that the amount of talent that we have currently in Philadelphia on all levels, like from us to the guys in the UFC to the amateur guys who are fighting on like all the amateur shows like CFFC or Art of War, all those guys. Like we the level of talent that is now, it wasn't comparable 5 to 10 years ago. Like when it was just Cage Fury and like XFE, like the level of talent that was there just wasn't where it is now. Like where it is now, it's not even like it's not even in the same conversation. Like we can't talk about where those guys are now to compare to where these guys are now. Comparable when we go back 5, like it's like you can't. It's night and day, and it's crazy to think that. But I just think it just comes when we talk about the over evolvement of the sport, coaching, training, etc. Guys or girls are getting younger because MMA has been so far exposed so much over the past 10 years, where so many more people are getting involved and getting into it. So like I just say it's really exciting. And then we haven't even touched about the main thing of Philadelphia is because this is more of a boxing community than it was an MMA one, and that has that's a whole nother level when we go into it too. But I don't want to keep you too much longer, Chris. Me and you, man, we could talk for freaking an hour if we want to. We're hours, man, hours.
But I want to get back to it. Definitely want to let you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Best of skill for you on this upcoming fight. What I typically do, kind of throw the microphone over you. Anyone you'd like to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot out your social media sites, any sponsors you might have, charities you're working with, anything you want to get out there, Chris. The time is yours, my friend.
All right, well, I appreciate it. Just everyone at the gym, Martinez, BJJ, my brother Kyle, Coach Will, Matt Turnbull, everybody who's always there, always in conditioning, Gresco. Crusader, everybody like that. Helen, I really appreciate you. And then just everyone who's been supporting me, Angelo, Jeff, I really appreciate you guys. And then new electric barber company, I really appreciate you guys for helping me out and hooking me up. But yeah, if you guys want to reach out to me on social media, it's Chris_Daukus MMA. It's pretty much on both Twitter and Instagram. Really don't do Facebook anymore. So if you guys want to reach me, I promise you I will eventually get back to you either through Instagram or Twitter. But yeah, just reach out, shoot me a message. I'll shoot you back. And then, yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Definitely appreciate your time, Chris. Again,
of course.
Best of skill, man. Be safe.
Thank you.
Have good travels. Enjoy the overseas time. Soak it all in and be able to enjoy the experience as well as take care of business when you're over there, my man.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, man. You have a good one, Chris. All right, everyone. That was UFC heavyweight Chris Daukus. Always fun talking to Chris. We like I said, man, we could talk about it, just about anything with that man. MMA.
Daytona race is crazy, homie. That's why I've been squinting. You see me squinting? Apparently, I can't see. I'm trying to look across the room, and the TV's not even 10 feet from me, and I'm still like, wait, what does it say? How much? What? I can't see shit.
Are you somehow getting older than me at this point in time? Because, like, listen,
so. You know what they say about us umpires, Steven? We can't see anything.
Yeah, because you're doing this all the time because you're trying to make sure everything's right.
You know what I like to? I tell coaches that when they're like, "Where was that pitch?" I'll be like, "It sounded like a ball." And they're like, "What do you mean it sounded like a ball?" Like it sounded like a ball. It was.
Wait, no. You got to bring me back here. Wait. There's a difference between how a strike sounds and a ball sounds. Explain that.
It is, absolutely. Yep.
No,
it sounded like a strike,
all right, so Mr. Umpire, you got to break it down. I mean, what's the difference sound? Is it how the ball hits the mitt? What is it?
There isn't any different sound. It's just a smart ass response you give a coach and you're tired of hearing his lip.
It sounded like a ball. Oh my God. I want to fucking throw a water bottle at you, dude. Well, that sounded like it struck you.
Like it sounded like a strike to me. But it was down. Sounded like a strike. Sounded like a strike. It was up. So it sounded good.
Definitely looking forward to Chris's fight. Though. Definitely make sure you guys are tuning that UFC. I think it's 266. That's September 25th. That's gonna be a fun one, man. Again, also, the other silver lining is that the guy's a freaking, at Philadelphia cop who's now, your top 10 ranked, UFC heavyweight.
There's some watermelon farmer from Florida that's running in second place in the Daytona race. You're not from Florida. You don't give a fuck. I'm from Florida. Yeah, he's from like.
Where do you come up with
He's from like the middle of nowhere out here in Florida. He is Ross Chastain and his family, like his great-grandfather was a watermelon farmer and his grandfather was and his father, and they've had like the farm that's been in their family for years. And he's like, I don't know, he's like out in the middle of nowhere down here in Florida. He got a watermelon farm like maybe an hour from me. Yeah, and he's running second in the race right now. Remember the old Firecracker 400 that used to sit around with your grandpappy as he smoked a pack of Winstons and on July 4th.
Actually, no. You know what's funny?
You remember?
If you want to know where I was watching NASCAR, it wasn't with my grandfather. It was with my grandmother. Like literally,
your grandmother, and you're cheering for Richard Petty doing the Firecracker 400.
Richard Petty. Yep. Darryl Waltrip, the whole nine. Exactly.
David Pearson, the Silver Fox. Oh, good stuff.
So Phillies won 7-0.
Oh, good. That's what your ace should do when you're playing the. See, that's what should happen when Wheeler. That's what should happen when Wheeler was pitching in Game 1. See, now if only Wheeler would have been. Whatever happened to Zach Wheeler since we started talking about him being the Cy Young favorite? All of a sudden, he's lost to the Diamondbacks twice.
Fell off a cliff. I'm sure the Mets are sitting there dancing like, yeah, that's what I saw.
Mets stink. First of all, the Mets have like a AAA manager running. That's their problem. Luis Rojas has been thrown out of like 15 games this year from my count. I don't know. Like, it's really ridiculous. This dude is in way over his head. I think they even noticed it. They've started to realize, he's no good. But you know what? I do love the fact that they've got they've got a mini Steinbrenner as their owner. Like, that dude, Steve Cohen, is like straight. He's like a new school George Steinbrenner.
You see Tommy's A2D post that every Phillies fans realize that they just witnessed the stress-free game. Yeah, 7-0. Yeah, that is a stress-free game. He gets sick strong from
the crazy
Gibson.
thing is, did Harper have another big night?
I did not see.
I know he's 2 for 3 last night with a home run and a double. I mean, that dude's got a chance to have, like, he's at 25 homers going into the night. I mean, we're not even at the end of August, right? He could legitimately hit 35, plus homers with a big September and hit 300 and literally, like,
Big Pete's in the house. What's up, Pete? How you doing, brother?
Like, if we were winning the National League East right now, Bryce Harper's the National League MVP. Like, literally is. Like, if we were running away with the National League East, had like a 5-game lead, where we kind of, down the stretch drive, and you're like, hey, like it's a team that, all of a sudden looking good. He would be the MVP right now.
Is that what we're hoping on to? No hopes of playoffs. Just let's get Bryce the MVP.
No, because you're not going to win the MVP. You have to have a year like Ryan Howard did in 06 to win the MVP without making the playoffs. Like, you just got to be like all time good numbers, 313 average with the 58 homers and the 148 RBIs. You're just like, yeah, of course you won the MVP. Who else has better numbers than that? But you give the MVP to Joey Votto if the Reds sneak into the playoffs, because Joey Votto is literally playing like he's 27 again. And if you look at Joey Votto's numbers over the past 110 games of this season, like past 100 games, I mean, he is playing at like just a lights out pace. Ryan Spader, obviously, who our boy Cameron Rupp hooked me up with on Twitter, has been posting all types of cool stuff like this. Joey Votto, since like the beginning of June, in like 48 games from like a certain stretch from like the beginning of June until like a certain stretch before August, had like 20. He had like 19 home runs in like a 40-game stretch or 48-game stretch or something like that. Hitting 340 during that time. I mean, you're just like, the dude's playing like he's 25, 27, 28 years old again. When he was winning MVP awards. And at 37, it'd kind of be cool to see him. I think he'd be the oldest or the second. He might be the oldest winner of the National League MVP award in the history of the award, I believe is what they were saying about it. It would kind of be cool, to kind of see, like, they won an MVP award 11 years ago in 2010. Imagine winning your second MVP award 11 years later. That's all-time GOAT status stuff, right? Like, that's like all-time great level when you can win an MVP award, 10 years, 11 years apart from one another. And if they make the playoffs, he probably does deserve it. Tatis, obviously, if he continues to stay healthy, but he could dislocate his shoulder again at any time. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's probably his award to lose.
And by the way, brother, Pat, big shout out to Pat Sabatini with the heel hook submission win. I told you
I didn't bet on Emmers. I did not like the Emmers.
Listen, I told you. Don't stay away from that.
I didn't like that bet at all.
I don't know what Moss told you, man.
Like 15-3. I was like, why would I bet against a motherfucker that's 15-3?
Yeah, well, from the looks of it, he got him with the heel hook, and I don't think he's walking home tonight.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't play footsies with a black belt. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, I thought that was about to go in a whole nother direction, and I was like, "Whoa, Steven, don't get us kicked off the air here,"
Listen, heel hook, toe hold. You don't play with a guy who's at that high a level of it.
I thought this was about to get racial. Instead of a black belt, you know what I mean? And you know where I was going. I was like, oh no, like, where are we going with this?
Oh man. Hopefully Pat gets that submission, the submission bonus, and he gets the extra money tonight, because I love that.
Glad you love it. My fight doesn't start, I think, until 10. I've got some of the main events here.
And split decision, Alvey didn't win. But it was a
decision. Alvey lost. Yeah, he was a big underdog. Not a big underdog. He was even at the start of the day, and then he was plus 100 by the time 8 o'clock came around. Chase is in good position. Well, was. Still not bad. He's cruising up there top 10. They're really, I mean, it's a lot of moving and shoving and pushing and going. Chastain, he got hung out. He didn't get back up in time. Huge run.
So, no, you're completely done with this Phillies team. Is that what you're telling me? Nothing.
I mean, look, the break. I mean, we had the easiest remaining schedule in baseball, and you blew it with a sweep to the Diamondbacks. I mean, you could have a big September and win this division. You could. Prove me wrong, though. You know what I mean? Like, I've been the guy that's had this team's back the entire fucking year. We haven't been able to piece together a stretch of baseball that's worth a damn the entire year, Steven. We're still struggling to catch pop-ups, and it's almost September.
Fundamentals, man. Where's that go to? And a lot of people and we get to hear this now. A lot of people want to run Girardi out already. I'm like, are you guys nuts?
Girardi might need to, to be honest, if we don't make the play, I'm cool with firing Girardi. At this point, Girardi hasn't done anything to make this team better. I don't know if he's made this team worse, but he hasn't done anything to make this team better. Nothing. Not a damn thing. I mean, I remember back in May when he was having a pissing contest with Howard Eskin instead of worrying about the fact that the team couldn't put together a clean.
You mentioned it's funny you mentioned Eskin. Did you see the fact that the Eagles put out something? He, 35 years of being the king of radio in Philadelphia. I'm like, wait a minute, when was he the king of anything? He's self-proclaimed. Would you call him the king of Philadelphia sports talk radio?
Most people that are the king of anything are self-proclaimed, Stephen.
Yes.
Most people, when they're the king of something, are self-proclaimed.
I mean, granted, I'll give him credit for being bacteria for 35 years and be able to survive. Has he been relevant the last 20 years?
He keeps himself relevant. He keeps himself relevant with like stupid takes.
Bad takes. Picking fight with Charlie Manuel. Charlie Manuel was about to punch his lights out. I mean, he's effectively made himself relevant over the last 20 years. Was that?
See, Charlie was like, I'm not going to get in the pissing contest with you, Howard, but you can meet me in the office if you want. I'll be down there. You can come. I'll be there. I'll be waiting. Like Charlie with his West Virginia accent. That country accent. He's like, oh, yeah. I'll be waiting. He's like, you know that I don't hold people accountable.
I mean, in reality, Eskin's just a pompous ass that people should have just forgot about long ago. But like, it's just he's an annoying little kid that finds a way to just continue to get under your skin. It was just like when we won the Super Bowl, he's running around polishing his ring, showing it to everybody. Like, why do we care about that? Like, cool, they gave you a ring.
Wait, why did Howard Eskin get a ring? All right, that's a problem.
Because he was he was a sideline reporter for the Eagles.
He was a sideline reporter for WIP, I thought. If I remember correctly.
Well, so for whatever reason, I think he was double dipping.
Well, listen, Howard Eskin. Listen, we've got people at A2D that have rings too. Okay,
I got one. It's in a box. I don't wear it.
Frank Vespi has a real one. Frank Vespi, our boy Frank Vespi, who worked for the Eagles, he's got a real Super Bowl ring too. Howard's not special because he's got a Super Bowl ring. Don't make me get Frank Vespi on the live stream. He's probably back. He's probably back there somewhere. Yeah, he's probably listening. He can come show off his ring too. Okay, and in my opinion, we all know what Frank was working in a much more relevant department of the Eagles than Howard Eskin was.
Listen, man, I just like to poke fun at Howard just because I don't think he's the king of anything. He's probably one of the more irrelevant guys I find in Philadelphia.
Did you know that Howard Eskin didn't play high school sports? Instead, he was the manager of the varsity baseball team. And that'll tell you everything you need to know about every sports opinion you've ever heard from Howard Eskin.
Listen, man, I don't pretend to be the professor master of nothing. I educate myself just as any person, but I'm not going to sit there the king of radio. I'm sorry that there's more. There's other people I would put ahead of that.
King of crumbs, maybe.
I already said he's the king of bacteria. He survived the Philadelphia sports media for 35 years.
I'll never forget being at a radio seminar in high school. I had some internship with CBS Radio because I went to private high school. And you know how it is when you go to private school and you pay a lot of money, they hook you up with opportunities you wouldn't otherwise have. So I had an internship with CBS Philly, and Spike Eskin is there to do some type of, seminar for us, prosperous, radio, media students, people that want to have a career in this in the future. Why anybody would listen to Spike Eskin if they wanted to have a career in the media in the future, I don't really know. He didn't really seem to be like the person to listen to. But, he was there, and I'll never forget.
Was he going to show everyone how to ride coattails? I mean, what?
He just, first of all, he looks like the guy that you would think is the smartest guy in the room. The nerdy glasses, he looked like Professor Frink from The Simpsons. But I'll tell you, like these are the types of people. Like, no wonder, like these are the types of guys that run like sport. Like, this is why we had to form. Tommy had to form A2D and had to create his own platform, because those are the types of people that run the sports media markets around the country. It's people like Max Kellerman and Spike, Eskin, who look like they belong, in a math debate, or part of the glee club of high school. They were in clubs like that, and instead these are the people that are running the sports radio markets around the country, and we wonder why. We're the best in the business, and we had to do something along these lines to just get out from any type of madness like that. Who wants to work? Who wants to work with people like Max Kellerman?
No one likes to be told what the fans are actually thinking when you don't actually freaking have an idea what this fan base is about. Is kind of the issue is why you seen the run on companies like A2D shows like us here on the Weekly Roundup, just because journalists aren't journalists anymore.
Just because you got a degree from Syracuse and your name's Nick Wright doesn't make you any good, at working in radio. Right? Like, that's how these people get jobs. Nick Wright has a degree from Syracuse, and I don't know what it is, but this guy finds work everywhere. This dude was on high stakes poker playing against Phil Hellmuth. Phil Hellmuth, like the poker legend, like the World Series of Poker champion. Nick Wright from Fox Sports 1 was playing high stakes poker against Phil Hellmuth a week ago or 2 weeks ago on Fox Sports 1 at like midnight, and I was watching it. I think I was
right. I think Andre just knocked the dude out, because I just seen Daniel Gracie Pussy. That's a KO.
Ooh, how many people are going to be mad if Bubba Wallace wins? Bubba Wallace leading with 30 to go.
No. It wasn't that one. It was Judo Razak, which is Abdul Razak Hassan.
He beat. Who'd he beat?
He just won by KO
against.
I can't see who he's fighting. Some other name I can't pronounce.
Of course. I didn't think he was fighting himself, Steven.
Let me pull it up for you, brother. Hold on.
Let me look it up. You're no good at this, apparently.
No, I pulled up now. Jesus, sorry. I was actually looking on Twitter, not actually what was going on.
I'm just going to Google it. Let's see.
You're going to Google it? Yeah, gotcha. He was fighting Alessio Di Charo.
Oh, was he? Yeah. Okay, I was going to bet on that one too, and I didn't. So I think we're okay right now.
Yeah. Well, actually, Abdul Razak Hassan, that should be his, like, I think he has more than a handful of those fights where he has knockouts under a minute. Oh, did we lose you, Mr. Burr?
No, I'm here. Do you hear me still?
I still hear you. You're just extremely frozen.
I've got Ricky Tercios, I've got Brian Battle, and I've got Makhmed Muradov. Those are my three guys that I bet on. So yeah, I've got Tercios, I've got Battle, and I've got Muradov, and none of them have fought yet. So
and you got Muradov over Mershot.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how you said his name, but Muradov is a huge favorite, like minus 650.
Yeah.
Like it's upset of the year if he loses that.
Crazier things have happened in combat sports, my friend.
Well, of course they have.
Kevin Lee's fighting Daniel Rodriguez, and that's the replacement for Sean Brady. What do you think? What do you like in the main event, Barboza?
I wasn't told who to like in the main event, so I don't have
You need to watch some more fights and start figuring out for yourself. And start putting the
I can only watch the prelims. Because I don't pay for the pay-per-views, so I can only watch the prelims. Sorry.
What?
I can only watch the prelims. I don't have any way to watch.
Prelims are on ESPN Plus, which is a paid package. The main.
Well, I have ESPN Plus.
The main card is on ESPN.
Oh, is it really? I thought the main card was on pay-per-view. Well, I can watch it then. Okay. I mean, I have ESPN Plus because the wifey has a subscription. I didn't know that the main card was on ESPN. Hell, even better.
Yeah.
Now I have something to do tonight once I get off the air with you.
It should be going on as soon as we go off the air. As soon as we go off the air.
Yeah. Who's going to be the first fight on the main card?
That's the one you were just talking about. The Gerald Mershon and the Matarov, yeah. Okay. Petrosky should win that fight too. I like Andre over Gilmore.
Yeah, he's like a -600 favorite too. He's a huge favorite.
Listen, dude, he's freaking. That kid's amazing. I'm telling you. Last 5 minutes. Anything you want to add before we get ready to wrap this thing up, my friend?
I don't need to add anything. Tell you what, y'all need to watch NASCAR, especially like if there ain't nothing else on. Like, what else you watching right now? Please don't tell me you're watching Fresno State and whoever the fuck's playing. That's ridiculous.
No, you should be watching the UFC. F you and your NASCAR.
and you can have the UFC, and then you can have the NASCAR on the quick view. There's only 25 to go in NASCAR. By the time NASCAR's over, you can literally watch UFC the rest of the night. But good Lord, a black man's about to win a race for the first time in 60 years, Steven. This is historical.
Well, get it,
story,
Bubba. Get it, Bubba.
Bubba Wire, he's leading right now, and today they just awarded Wendell Scott. He was the first African-American man to win a race in NASCAR, but because it was back during the 60s in a time when, depending on where you're at, it would be really controversial.
Well, NASCAR
Of course, NASCAR was also very Southern, right? But at the time when the win happened, I think they were in South Carolina or one of these places where they were worried about the fan reaction to it. So instead of giving him the trophy, they gave the trophy to the white guy that finished second. And this is the first time since that point that they've actually corrected it. So they brought his family in and actually had this big ceremony to give them this big trophy and actually here's the official, he's officially going to have that win finally, a win that he should have had a long time ago, long overdue sort of thing, so.
Yeah, it's one of those things that should have happened long ago, but hey,
Yeah, you can understand why it happened at the time, right? You're just like, but why wasn't this corrected
why is it now? Why is it now? Why couldn't that happen 20 years ago?
To correct it?
Exactly.
Why couldn't it have been corrected in the 80s or the 90s?
But that's the thing that pisses people off, and that's the thing. But they have a right to, and I agree with it. We shouldn't be having this conversation. It's 2021.
Well, but it's okay. So this conversation could have happened 30 years ago, but it didn't. Now, I've always said this conversation, all of this stuff should have happened when Rodney King, and you remember being able to remember the Rodney King thing. Like all of this should have happened then, and maybe certain things did start to happen to push that in the right direction. But for whatever happened, for whatever reason, it just you didn't have this type of full-fledged thing. But I mean, would you have been shocked if after the Rodney King thing, if all the aftermath would have been stuff like we saw all of last summer? And, this whole movement and all of this that's happened over the past years, I mean, you wouldn't have been shocked if that happened back, shortly after the Rodney King things as a response to that whole incident, I'm sure, right?
And speaking of
there was a lot of public outrage.
And speaking of responses to incidents, and I don't want to be political at all, do you hope the NFL does a little bit more to pay tribute what's going on right now to some of our servicemen, considering how entwined the NFL is with our servicemen?
The NFL ain't entwined with shit. The NFL is all about this. And right now would not be a time for them to try to take more of this just so that, oh, like, yeah, we're praising the military. We all know, like, there's $100 million, advertisement deal around this somewhere. Like, that's all bullshit. And Goodell's a fucking snake. And the last person that I would want to be involved with any of this. No, like, stop it. That's disrespectful, if you ask me, for the military to try to, or for the NFL to try to,
no, I'm just saying,
off of this military situation.
On the things of week one, having the flags at half staff for whatever Americans.
Well, I mean, I guess you could do that, but we all know that won't be the case. Goodell's going to turn it into some type of propaganda machine that makes him $100 million, and that's not okay because now you're just using the military as your pawns to make you money, and now's not a time to sit here and do
I'm just saying because you would have figured MLB or somebody would have done something over this past week or something like that. Just trying to see if you're thinking that somebody should say something about it as far as major sports goes, considering that's what is keeping everyone's mind off of the crazy nonsense that's going on around the world.
Big wreck in the NASCAR race. Sorry, I got distracted. I mean, like, look, that's not. It depends on how they do it, right? But I don't want it. Like, the NFL has a history of just turning everything into a propaganda, machine. The NBA might do it, right? I really, I'm a fan of the way that Adam Silver does things, not necessarily the players, but Adam Silver himself seems to always be very.
I would hope that by the time the NBA is kicking back off, like I said, I just hope that by the time the NBA is kicking back off, this is not something we're still talking about. That's all I gotta say. But another 2 hours, done going fly by like we only been here about 45 minutes. Back next week, gonna have some more fun stuff to talk about. Week one of the NFL season should be here. So some NFL games should already be under our belt. We'll see if the Phillies are able to not rip our hearts out of our chest even more than they already have. Other than that, this was another episode of the Weekly Roundup. We will see you guys back here next week, right here, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on A2D Radio. Other than that,